Is my screen visible to everyone? Okay. So today we will going to start what is Maven and why we are going to use it. So if I come to this part, so basically Maven is just a project management tool. What does this mean, right? Like if I tell you till now what we are doing, suppose this is our project and we go to property, like first we download the jar file. So first after that we will go to property and then we will go to this one. So this is how we used to do when we have not have the knowledge about Maven, right? So these files are present in my local machine, right? So what happen if I give this project to some other person? So this path will be different, right? So this path will not be present in his or her system. So what will happen? You need to download the file again and then place it. So what we can do instead of okay, so my mouse is not moving somehow. Okay, so now what we have to do? Now we will use Maven, and you will see that we will not require to do all this, right? So what we can do? Let us download Maven, then we will understand why we need this. So let me go to Chrome. Let me on a separate tab. And just type here Maven download. So once you click it, go to their official website, and here if you come down, so if you come here, right, so I'm working on Windows, so you can download. There are a couple of things, but we can download this one, binary zip archive, right? So now if I click it, you can see it will finish downloading, right? So let me show you how it will look, and I will extract the file. So it's still downloading. So once you will finish downloading it, you have to set the path. So just like we set the Java path, here also we need to set the Maven path. So it is taking some more time to load. So let us wait. Okay, so it is downloaded. So now let me extract the file. So click this. Click on extract. Okay, so now this is our folder. You can go inside. So if you go inside this one, right? So basically these are all the files, right? Similarly, what we have to do now, we need to set the Java path. Uh, path just like we did for the Java, we need to set it for the Maven. So let me go to this PC and go right click it, property, and here if you go to advanced system setting, and here if you see I have one Maven home, right? So what I've done, just like we create path for Java, just click on new, give some name, like here I have given Maven hyphen home, and provide the complete path. So this is the complete path I'm using. If I show you, this is the path, right? So if I show you, this is present in my machine, which I have downloaded right here. So first you need to, when you open this Apache Maven folder, first you need to provide the path till here, right? So this is the complete path I have provided, and one more path you have to provide. Go inside this one, copy this complete path, copy this, and here. So let me open that again. Advanced system setting, and here you have to click on OK, but I am already having this in my machine, so I will not click OK. So now you have to go inside this path variable. So similarly, just like we did it for Java, and here you need to provide the complete path inside bin folder, right? So you can see here, if I paste the path which I have copied, right? So inside bin folder, you have to provide the complete path, right? So these two paths you have to set, and after that you have to click on OK. As of now, I will click cancel because I am already having it. Now you have to click on OK again. So this will set the path to our web file, right? And after that, I will first check whether it is successfully present in my machine or not. So for that, there is one simple command, maven hyphen version. So it will tell you what is the maven version which you have in your machine. If you see some kind of error, then you can say that you have done some mistake in installing it. So let us see whether it is giving us the version as well. So you can see it is saying this is the version, right? And some kind of lengthy ID is coming as well. So anyways, we need to check that whether you are getting this message or not. So which means Maven is successfully installed in your machine. So this part is clear, how we can install it. I hope it is clear. So now what we have to do, once we install it, now I will create one Maven project. Instead of simple project, we should do like this, right? Click new project, and then this is Java project. But now, from now onwards, we will work with the Maven project. So I will click Maven project. And let us also go to what is the Maven official website. Let me open it again. So let me wait for that to finish. Okay, so once you will click on the Maven project, you have to, so it is saying that this is the workspace location. So click on next, and here you need to, so there are so many templates available for the project. I'll choose this one. So you can try the other one if you want, but this is the best one. So the name is, okay, I think this is, this is the, if I open it, so we are working with, so you can choose this one or this one, but I will choose this one only. So just click this. Okay, now here you need to provide the group ID and artifact ID. So we will understand in detail that what is group ID and artifact ID. As of now, give some name, like suppose if I say test, and if I say Maven project demo. So whatever the name you will give here to the artifact ID, that will be your folder name, right? Here I am seeing Selenium introduction, but once I create it, you will see this name as the, as your folder name. So let us see. So it has started to create. So it will take some. So it has created here on the top. So still it is creating. Okay, so I think it's finished creating this. So so there are so many folders it has created. So what I am saying that here in the sheet, uh, like it is just a project management tool. What are the feature? So basically, if you want to work with Jenkins, right? So you can integrate Maven with Jenkins. So we will see later how we can use the Jenkins in our project. And you can also work with the TestNG, which is a framework, right? So if you want to use TestNG inside Maven, you can also do with the help of Maven as well. And this we will see in a while. And what is this one? Maven helps in maintaining the common project structure across the organization. So if you see this one, last one, it has provided a common structure, right? So there is one folder, this is the folder, this is the package, and this is also one of the folder, right? So it has provided you a common structure which all can follow, right? Otherwise you need to create the folder one by one, but Maven has provided you some folder structure. So this is what the fourth point means. So what I will do as of now, let me delete this file which is not required to me. Let me delete it, click OK, and from here as well I will create OK. Okay. So now this, out of all these folder, this XML file is important. So it is project object model. So basically, whatever the jar file which I need, I will place it here. Let me show you. So let me open it first and go to the Maven official website. So the website name is Maven repository, right? So just search it and go to the first link. And here, suppose I need to work with Selenium, right? So we are working with Selenium Java, right? So if I hit enter, if I search it, you will, so go to this first one, Selenium Java. And you can see there are so many Selenium versions are present here, right? You can see what is the first version, it is 2.0, then they move to like that. So as of now, this is the latest version, 4.0 beta 4, right? But all these are not stable version. Why I am saying not stable version? Because if you go to here, let me show you how enter mining it is a table. Say Selenium. download. So from there you can see what is the stable version. So this website we already come lot of time. We already visited this a lot. So if I come down, okay, so here you can see somewhere here. So you can see it is saying latest stable version. So this is our stable version. So I will not touch this one as of now. So you can take this one or this one or this one as well. So let me take this one. If I go inside this, so now this is the line. Here you have to copy paste, right? So let us first understand what is the group ID, right? So if you see here, I have written it here. So basically group ID, it is just a unique name of the company that creates the project, right? Group ID, which means it is just a unique base name of the company that is creating this jar file, right? So if you see what is the group ID here, it is this. So basically this is the company name they have written. And what is this one? Artifact ID. If you see this one, artifact ID is sub project name, which means like suppose uh, this is the main one. Suppose this is the main one, and inside this there can be Selenium Java, there can be some other Selenium C Sharp. So as of now C Sharp is not included in the Maven, but just assume this. So there can be some other name as well, but this is the parent name, right? Inside this this is the company. Selenium is, suppose this is the company name. Inside that they have created so many small projects like Selenium Java, Selenium C Sharp, like that. So this is what it specifies, and this is the version. So this is the version name, and all these things are present inside this dependency tag, right? So this is how they have designed it, and this is just a comment, right? So if you ignore it, that is fine. So let me just copy this whole code and just go to Eclipse. And here you can see by default it has given me some structure. So do not worry about this structure as of now. So by default, if you see, this is the dependencies tag. From here it is starting, and from here it is ending. And I will do one more thing. I don't require this as of now. So let me delete all the thing inside the build tag. So I will empty this. Okay, let me delete again. I'm deleting the entire things from here to here, which I don't require. So from here to here, delete. Right. So now this tag is empty as of now. So, and here as well, if you see, one dependency is present, which is JUnit. I don't want to include the JUnit, so I will remove it from here. So let me delete it and paste the one which I have copied. So this is just a comment. You can also remove it. So, but these four are important. So if I save this project, if you see here, as of now, we are having JUnit and this, right? Some files are present here by default. When I save it, you see some more files that come in Maven dependency. So which Maven will pull automatically from his repository, right? So we don't have to worry about this in the build path. Just paste this line, and it will pull and place it here, right? So some more files you can see. So this is the version 6.1415, and we are getting all the Selenium dependency. And now we are going to. So now, okay. So let me check someone wants to learn. Okay, so now if you see, you can see first it has downloaded and placed it into my local machine, right? You can see C users. So what will happen if I give this project to some other person? This line will pull all the dependency and place it into the local machine. So his project will not fail because we are not providing any hard coding, right? It will automatically place. So now that's the reason we should use Maven. Now, after getting this, and if you remove this, you will see that all these dependencies will be removed, right? And the JUnit is also coming here, but now only Selenium jar files are present here because I have removed the JUnit, right? So till now it is clear to everyone. Okay, I hope it is clear. So let us do one thing. As of now, we have not discussed about TestNG. What is TestNG? We have not discussed. But I want to get TestNG dependencies as well. So we will see. So TestNG will be a separate session. As of now, just see some of the basic. So TestNG is the framework. It will have some predefined classes and the method that will help us to write our code in an effective manner, right? So that's why it is a framework, because it has predefined libraries which will help us to write a better code. So first I have searched TestNG and then I will copy this, right? So I've copied this. So this is basically the TestNG dependency, and here again after this, so this is the parent tag. Inside this you can place multiple dependency, right? So first I place this one, second I will place this one. So save it. So now here TestNG dependency will also be present here, right? So you can see TestNG, some other as well present. So now what we will do, as we are working with the Maven project, so this is our source test Java. So here I will be writing my test case, and here we will be going to write page object, page object. So we will see tomorrow what is page object. We will going to write it inside this folder. But here it is straightforward, source test Java. Here we will going to write all our test case, right? So now first I will create one more package, or you can use that one also. So let me say package name is test cases. So some name I have given, and inside this I will create one class. So the class name I can say bike test. Suppose some name I am giving. So this is bike test. And let me create one more class. I can say mobile test. So some dummy name I am giving. And let me go inside this. So till now, what we are, if you remember what we do, we used to use this main method. We are using main method. Okay. So, but what I am doing now, I will not going to use the main method, because I have included TestNG dependency from here, and I have placed it here. So in the TestNG, there is one test annotation. So basically, this is not a test case; it is simply a method. So if I write, suppose public void, I can say test case by, suppose some name I am giving. So now in the TestNG, on the top of it, if I provide @test, @test, import it. So import test. So we are using TestNG, not JUnit. So first one is the one we need to import. Now if I write some statement like here, by test. So if I write like this, and if I try to run it, and one more thing, let me show you. So let's wait for it to finish. So TestNG we will again see from starting. Just need to have some idea here only. So you can see, once I am providing @test for the TestNG, you are getting some good output, right? But if I use main method, you will not get all these things, right? So this is basically given by the TestNG. And if you see this one, when I'm doing right click run as this one. So if you do not see in your Eclipse, first you need to go to Windows, go to help, go to Eclipse Marketplace. So basically you will not see it if you have not installed this plugin. I have installed one plugin of TestNG. So go to installed one. I am already in my machine. Okay, so now if you go to installed one, so there is one plugin you have to download, otherwise you will not see run as test ng. Okay, so here I'm having so many plugins. So we need to download one test ng one. Is it there? Okay. So what you need to do, you have to download this plugin, test ng for Eclipse. So what you will do, go to search for the first time and search this name test ng for Eclipse. And after that, you need to click on install. So let me show you this. Okay, so search here test ng. So just search test ng and it will give you the name of plugin. So you can see I'm already having it. That's why it is saying install. But when you will do it for the first time, you will see this, and you have to just click on next. Next, it will install the plugin. So after that, it will ask you to restart your Eclipse editor, so you can restart it, right? Once you install this, you will be able to see this name here, run as test in test, right? Otherwise, you will not see. So similarly, what I will do, I will create one more test case that will be here in the second class, and here I can say test case mobile. So I will say, and here I will say mobile test executed. So now if I run it, same again, we will going to get the same output. Let us see. So this is the version of test ng. So you can see some output we are getting test run 1, failure 0, skip 0, and passes 1, right? So this is about this one. So now in the Maven itself, now we have seen how we can run from like test ng. But if we want to run our Maven project, how we can do? So some error is coming here. So if this error is coming, let me do one thing, right click, go to Maven, go to update project and click on OK. So error is removed. So we have updated our project, so error is removed. Now what I will do, I will try to run this from our command prompt. Like if I open this one, let me open again, cmd. Now this is our command prompt, and first let me check where this project is present. So if you go to resource, this is the complete path of our project or the folder. So copy this path and let me go to this path. So first we need to, if I write, okay, so what is the, I forgot it. Let me change. Anyone remember what is the command we need to change the directory? I think this is the one. Anyone remember? Let me Google it. I forgot it. What's the command? So I think the command is So let me check. Okay, let me type E. Okay, so now we need to write like this. So now once we are on the our here, now I am coming to this complete project path, right? So this is the complete project path where I want to navigate, right? So this Maven project demo is present here, right? So first I come to this project level. Then there are three important commands. So first one is that Maven clean. What is this command will do? If I so let me write in a small Maven clean. So there is one command Maven clean. So what happens whenever you run your project, Maven will generate some file inside this folder, target folder. As of now, there are no files. So let me refresh it. Some files should have been there. Refresh. Okay, so now, okay, so as of now, it is not showing you. Let me do one thing. Suppose I need to run both the classes, right? So here is our test case. If I just type Maven test, it will run all the files which are present. You can see it will run both the class file, and it will also print the output here. So this is what the Maven test command will do. So it is scanning my project. You can see this is the same path of my project, but we are running from the command prompt. And also you can see it is inside this target folder. It is trying to generate some report. So basically Maven will generate all the report and all the important files inside the target folder always. So it is taking some time, and you can see what is the output. We should see no failure. So you can see test run to failure 0, right? Which means everything is working correct. So till now it is clear to everyone how we can run the test case from the command prompt using Maven. Okay, I hope it is clear. So now let us do one thing. If you remember, I have removed this path. I have removed one. There are so many things inside this build tag. Let me get one plugin and install it. So I will type Purefire plugin. So there is one plugin which you should install in your machine. Not machine at the pom.xml file. So if I go here and go to usage and go from here to here. So basically this is the plugin. Go to usage and click this. Copy this inside build a tag. Copy this and place it into the inside this view you need to place, right? So we will see. So basically we are able to run our test case, but this has many uses. We will see when we will discuss TestNG as well. So let's put this and we will discuss framework as well. We are going to include this in our project. So this will have a lot of uses. So as of now, just put this. And so this is the version name, this is the group ID and artifact ID. Once you will put this, now if I run it again, it will again going to give me the same output. So first command we have discussed is Maven test. So once this command is executed, some files will be generated here. So let me refresh the project and see what are all the files. So refresh it and go to target. So some folders and files are coming here. So if I want to clean this folder, I want to remove all the files from this target folder. So there is one more command which is Maven clean. So this will going to remove all the files from this target folder. You can see Once this will execute, it will remove all the file. So now if I refresh the project, you will see all the files will be deleted from this target folder, right? So this folder is now empty. So this is what the maven clean command will do. And there is one more command which is maven compile. So this is optional if you want to give. So basically compiling in the sense, right, it will check whether there are no errors in your code or there is no some syntax error like this. This is what the compile will do. It will simply check whether there are no existing errors in your project. If there are errors, it will give you error itself here. So as of now, all the classes are up to date. Nothing, everything is success, right? Which means no error is present in our project. So basically, what happens when you type maven test, automatically first it will compile and then it will run. So this compile part is optional. If you give maven test, it will also run, right? So this part is clear to everyone. Okay, I hope it is clear. So now what we will do, we have discussed some basics of Maven, that how we can place this plugin and how we can place the dependency. So now let us see, suppose there is one Excel file. So we will discuss many more things about Maven, but as of now, it is enough. So now let us see, suppose there is one Excel file. So some data I have entered into this Excel file. I want to get the data from this Excel file, and then I want to use that in my test case. How we can do that? And one more thing, if I show here, suppose if I change the class name, suppose if you have created the class name like mobile test, suppose if I write like this other name, and if I run this command from the command prompt again, maven test. So let us see what will be the output. So basically you will see this time only this output in the project. What happens is that if you do not provide test, after byte I'm saying test, capital T is there, test. So basically for each and every file, Maven will recognize only when test is present after the file name. So if you see this time only one output should be there, because after mobile test cases there is no text is present, right? So basically after each and every file, if you do not provide test, Maven will not recognize it. So this you need to take care. So as of now, byte test we are seeing in our output. You can see this time test run 1, because I have not provided test after this file name, right? So just you need to, whenever you are working with Maven, if you provide like this, byte test after the test. So this you need to provide after the class name, then finish. So now if you run it, you will see both the output, so that you can try. So this you need to take care. And suppose, okay, so now if you see this Excel file, I have one simple data here. So I want to get the data from this Excel file and I want to use that in my test case. So how we can do that? So basically, if you want to work with Excel in Selenium, so you need to download some dependency again. So go to this website. So type here POI. So if you search this POI, so basically you can come to here. So there is one POI and this is this one. So you need to include both of these one in your project, right? This one and this one. When you search POI, first is this one. So let me open it in the new tab, and this is our second one. So I will also open it in the new tab. So then only we can work with the Excel. So this is the latest version, and here as well. This is the latest version. So let me take the same. So now copy this. Again, the same thing we will do. So here inside this parent dependencies tag, let me put one first, this one. And what is the other one? And this is our other one, right? So copy both the one and paste it here. So first you need to import these two. So this is the one. First one is this one. So now if you see this group ID, a unique name of the company that has created the project. So you can see this name is unique, but inside this they are having so many different projects. So this is POI, this is some other, right? So now save it. Now here as well it will put all the file which required. So you will see it's, as of now it is loading. So once it will load, it will here. So also here all these files we require to cover to get the data. So now what I will do, I will create one more file. So let me create Excel data reader, and inside this, so this time I will not use test, so that is not required here, or you can use test keyword as well if you want. Let me go only with the main method. So once we will discuss TestNG, from there onwards we will always use test. As of now, let me use main method. So first, what we need to do, first, okay, so this is our main method, and what is this? This is our file name, right? So let me copy some code which I am already having it, and go here. So this one. So this. So this code is very simple. Let me explain you. So paste the code and let me comment all this. Okay. So now some errors are coming. So let me import it. So import this file one. Import this one as well. Import this one as well. So this class is coming from the dependency which we included just now. Otherwise, you will not see the import statement. So also click this one. And if you come down one more, this is the one, right? So let me do one thing. Let me comment it as of now. And if you go up, so okay, so at the duration that you can do like this. Okay. So now what I'm doing in the first line, this is our class. So this is a Java class. I am creating the object of this class, so new file, and this is the object name, right? And inside that, I am providing the complete path of my Excel file. So let me copy. We are having the different Excel here. So this is our Excel name. Let me check the complete path and click this path name desktop. And what is the file name? Students, right? So this is a CSV file. Sorry, not CSV file. It is simply Excel file. If I come here, So I will provide the complete path from here to here. Provide the path, right? And what is your sheet name? It is students. So the extension of file name is this one, Excel SX. So first I provided the complete path. So once I run this program, this object source will have the knowledge where your file is located. So my file is present here. So that file details will be captured here. Now I will create one more class which is file input stream. So you can do one thing. Let me comment this out as of now. So let us start from this one as well. We will see that later. So first you need to create the file input stream object. This class is capable of reading the file, right? So that's why we are using this class. So this class can read your file, which is your Excel file here. So create the object of this class and provide the path file name. So this is like you can do, or you can do this way. Provide this variable here. You can do in both the way. So let us see as of now only this one, how we can do with the help of this one. So basically I'm creating the object of this class because this class has the capability to read the file. So this is the path. Now this workbook, this is again a class. I am creating the object of this class, and now this is the object name. I am providing it here. So now because you can see here when I'm providing the path here, this object have the knowledge, right? If I provide this object here as well, now the this class object also have the knowledge where your Excel sheet is present, and this is the main class that will going to perform the getting that will help us to get the data from our Excel file. So once you will create like this, so this object will have one method. So when you say dot get sheet, so as of now if you see what is our sheet name, there can be hundreds of sheet here. My sheet name is students. So I will copy this. So this is my sheet name. So once you will see this, because what I can do if I show you, there can be sheet number 2, sheet number 3, like that. So first I need to tell which sheet is the one where I am having the data. So this is the sheet name. So I have given this. So it will capture the sheet name, and now we need to move it here. And once we will get the sheet name, I will first count what is the total number of rows, right? So let me just run till here as of now, and let us see what is the output. So if I run it, let us see what is the total output we are getting. So total rows are which are having the data. One, which are having the data I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Total 5 rows we are having, which is having the data. So let us see what is the output we are going to get. So line number 19, it failed. So let me check why. So I have given the incorrect file name, file path, sorry. So let me check what is the file path. I have given it wrong. So this is the okay. Let me check again. Saying file not found, which means I have given the incorrect file name. Provide double quote. So now try to run it again. This time it should work. So file not found, but file path is correct as I can see. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me close it. Might be the file is open, that's why. Don't save. So I think the file is open, that's why it is not identifying. Let me run it again. Okay, again, the system cannot. Let me create one copy of this, I think. This is my file name, and I will. This time it should work. Might be the file is corrupted or some issue is there. Okay. Why it is not identifying? Okay, let me check whether it is a Excel file or not. Okay, so I think this is a CSV file. Okay, so I will give .csv instead of .csv. Let me try to run. This time it extension of file is different, so that's why it is not giving me. Okay, so you can see that if I'm changing the extension, it is not able to identify, right? So basically we need to use CSV. We need to use .xlsx format. So let me create new file, new. There is one, this one. So let me create data. Let me open this. So this one is not a CSV file, it is a Excel file. So I will first copy this data and I will open it. So I'll paste the data here and I will give the name as students, otherwise it will give error. Now I will save the file. So this is our data2 is our new file which is having .xlx extension. So I will say data to dot. Now if I try to run it again, let's see whether it is working. Again same error. Why is we are getting this? Let me check this time. This time it is correct. This is our file name. I think there is one space. This time space is here. Data. Okay, so there is one space. That's why it is not identifying. So this time I'm sure that it will work. Okay, so it is saying total number of rows are 4. Let us check how many rows are here. Let me close this. So this is our actual file which we want. So if we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the reason why you are getting 4 as the rows count is because it is counting like, or it is counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? If I say one more row, right, like this. So now how many rows are here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why you are getting the count. So this time if I run it, it will give you 5. So this is how it is counting. This method will give you the last row number. So the total number of rows are 5. So this time you should see 5 here, right? So first of all, we will going to get the total number of rows. Once we get the total number of row, I want to get the total number of column. So how many columns are here? Here if you see, only 3. 1, 2, 3. So 3 columns are there which are having the data. Now what I will do, let me explain it here. So there is no straight method to get the total number of column, right? Because here I am using get last row number. So there is no method like get the total number of column. So for that, what we will do, first I am going to get the row number 0, or you can say 1 here as well. So this sheet is having the, so if you see this one, when I'm applying this, when I'm creating the object of this class, this is having the sheet number 1, which is students, right? So this sheet variable going, and you can see from this sheet which is having the name as students, I'm getting the row number 0. So what is the row number 0? This is our row number 0. Or because you can take any row, the columns will remain the same. Even if you say row number 3 or 4, that will not going to affect the result. So let me say row number 0. So this row, we are going to get this row inside this variable, which is having the name as, so this complete row will be present here, right? So this row will be captured into this variable. And from this object, I am saying get the last cell number. So that whatever be the last cell number of this row, which is having the data, so it will give you this, right? So this is the count, how it will give you. So let us see how, what is the column count it will print now. So let us see what is the column, total number of column we are having. So first you need to get the row. Then once you get the row, you will get one object. And from this object, you will going to call this method. So you can say columns are 3. So if you see count like this, so this time you need to take care how it is calculating the total number of rows, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But how it is calculating the column, it is like this, 1, 2, 3, right? Similarly, if I say one more, you can say office name, right? If I say office name, like some dummy data I will give here. So now we are having total 4 column. So how many rows are here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how it will count. But for the column, it will count like from 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So this is how they have designed. So let me run it again. This time, total number of columns are 4. So you can say columns are 4. So till now it is clear to everyone how we are calculating the total number of column and the row. Okay, I hope it is clear. So now let me implement this. Okay. So once we get the total number of rows and the total number of column, I need to get the data. So let me format this. Okay. So if I okay. So now once I will get the total of column, I will run one for loop. That for loop will run from I equals to 0 to row count. What is the total row count? This variable I am placing here. So total number of rows are 5. So this will run for total 6 times because it is starting from 0. And from this variable, sheet variable, which is having the sheet student, I am saying first get me the row number. So I will be 0 for the first time. For the first time, when I will 0 will come here, and cell value is 0 here again. So basically, if you see here, if I show you, where is our sheet? Our sheet is this one. So what is our first column? If I talk about this one, it will be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. Likewise, if I talk about this one, 1, 0, it will be 1, 0, it will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Likewise, so if I want to get name, it will be 0, 0, right? So here, this is what I'm saying. So for when 0 will come here, 0, 0 means this first name will be come here, right? This first name, what is our first name? This name value will come here, right? Name basically whatever is written here, that will be fetched and placed into the variable. So if you can see here, so 0, 0. So let me write I will be 0 for the first time. When I will be 0, the 0 will come here. Then I'm saying 0, 1. So what is the 0, 1? If you see here, 0, 1 is nothing but salary, then age, then office name, right? So now if I try to run this, so let me do one thing. Okay, let me just try to run it. Might be fail. Let us check. Okay, so it has printed some data. So it is able to print name. So when I will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. So name, salary, age. And one more it should print. So if I take data number 4, let me put data number 4 here. What is our data number 4? It is the office name. So one more column is missing as of now. So I will say 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will print the first row data. So what we are getting an error, we will check that why we are getting the error. So again it will run and it will print the first row. So name, salary, age, office name, it is able to print, and it has also printed the name. But when it come to print, so this Sumit will be presented 1, 0. When I will be 1, so 1 will come here and 1, 0 value Sumit has printed. But for the salary part, it is giving one error, cannot get a string value from a numeric cell. Because if you see this one, this is again a numeric cell, right? Some integer value is present here, so that's why it is not able to fetch. So for that, we need to apply one logic here. What we can do, where are the numeric? Oh, let me do one thing. If I write here, it is in string value, here it is string value. But on these two, we are having the, which value we are having? For this one, only these two one I am telling. So it is an integer value. So what I will do, on these two, I will apply one logic. What I will say, instead of get string cell value, I will say get, there is a method of get numeric cell value, because they are the integer value, right? So here I will have to create one integer variable. So it should be, now I will save it. So cannot convert from double. Okay, so it is going to return you in the double format. So I will say double, not here. I will write double, and here as well I will write, because again it is a string for integer value. So I will say get numeric cell value. Get numeric cell value. Now save it and run it. Let us check this time whether we are able to get all the data. So, okay. So there is one issue here again. The issue is that, what is the issue if I come here? Now it is saying that I want to get the numeric cell value, but when it comes to 0, 1, so it is 0, 1, it is again a string. But we have written here, it is get numeric cell value, right? So again, so what we can do, we can apply one if else condition. What we can do is, let me copy this, sheet dot, let me copy this. First I will trying to get the sheet. I will compare the type of this dot equals sheet. What is the comparison operator for this dot? Get. So here you can type it here. Get. There is one method which I am not. Let me check. Get cell type. So it is get cell type equals to dot or it's okay, cell type dot, let me write. What is the error?
I think you have used cell style. Sorry, get still.
Okay, so now once we put it, so basically I'm using dot equals. So basically we need to compare the string. So get cell style returns the cell style. So whether basically it is the string or what is now this one. There can be dot, let me check, dot get cell command, cell formula, cell style. Okay, so we can use this one because on the right hand side also. Let me check this one. Now if I try to write, so if it is equal to string, if it is equal to string, then what I will do, I will copy these two lines inside this one and I will write a string here. If both are string, then we need to run that string one. This is string, and here I will say get string shell value, and here as well. Now it will automatically check, and but in the if that condition is does not match, which means it is an integer instead of a string. If it is an integer value, so I will keep these two lines inside this one. So now let me try to run. So I put one if else condition here. It will keep on checking whether it is a string or not. So accordingly it will work. So this time we should see all the data. So now you can see how it is displaying the data. First it is printing this column row number 0. So you can put some spaces and you can align it later. So Sumit and then salary and then age, then office name like Ankit, like this. So are you able to get that how it is printing the data? Okay, so I think it is clear to everyone, no queries. So we will move to the next topic. So this code I will share in the Telegram. You can play around with it. So once you will get the data, if you want to enter some data into the text box, so when you say driver dot find element by dot xpath dot send keys, so in the send keys you need to provide this variable name, right? So that's so whatever the variable name you can provide, it will be. So this activity you have to do. So but we have seen how we can fetch all the data from our Excel sheet. So okay, after that, now there is one more. Let me get one class. Class name is database. reading. So sometimes what happens in the project, people maintain all the data in their database. So if you want to fetch the data from the database, how we can do that? So here we are using MySQL as the database. So there are many databases, but here we are going to see MySQL database. So first we need to download it. So just search here MySQL download. So here, if I go to this one, I think this is not the one. Let me go back. If you go to second one, okay, so this is the one. So once you go land here, you need to download this one. So this is very small. Download all the, which will have all the data. So this is the one you have to download. Click on download. It is around 450 MB. So you can say just no thanks, just start my download. So as of now, so this is a .msi file. So basically, let me as of now cancel it because I am already having it in my machine. So once this setup will download completely, you can try. You have to double click it. You have to double click it, and you will see I have created one. How you need to follow the process? Let me show it here. I will share this file with you. Okay, so now when you launch the setup part, here you will see this window. So do not just select the first option. If it is not selected, then click on next. When you click on next, you will end it here. Again, click on execute, then click on next. So then when it will start downloading all the files, and again click on next if it appears, and after that you will end here. So make sure you will going to note this port number, right? So 3306 is the port number where your database will be running. So just note it down somewhere and save it. And do not change anything here. Just note this port number and click on next. And again, you have to click on next. Do not change anything. Just select the first one. And I think by default it will be selected. Again, now this is important. Here it will ask you for the password. So make sure whatever the password you are typing it here, you can remember it. Otherwise, you need to download the setup again. So it is very tedious process to change the password. So make sure you will remember whatever the password you will type here. Now click on next. Again click on next. Just click on, you have to click on next. And here on this window, provide the username. So by default it will be the root. This is the username and password. And click on check. If you see this green tick, which means you are setting up the MySQL database correctly. After that, click on next. Again next. So basically you can see installation is done here, right? And now you will see once installation will be done, just search here MySQL and you will see this one after installation on your machine. So click this and it will open. Basically inside this workbench there are so many database. So it is taking some time. So this sheet I will share with you. So it is taking some time. So it has opened. So once you see this, you have to just click on this one, first one. By default, you will see this one. So now my mouse is not visible. Okay, so now it is visible. So let me launch it again. So this is the one. And click on this one. Now it will open it. It will ask for the username and password. So by default, this is the username and password. Whatever I have written, I will write that password. So click on OK. So once you will click this, it will open your database. Sorry, it will open all the database which it is having, right? So many databases are present here. By default, there are many databases. So this is the database I have created. So if I show you, so basically one more thing, we are not going to discuss entire MySQL part because that is again a very big topic. But let us discuss some basics. So I have one sheet here. I will share this sheet so you can also create the table because first we need to create the table. So what you have to do, let me copy this. If I go here. So now if I paste it. So first I will create one database. So whatever the database you want to create, suppose if I say database student. So this is the database name. So first create the database with this line. So on the left hand side you will see database will be created. Refresh it. So this is the database, and inside this database I want to create one table, right? So if I want to create a table, if I try to use this one, so basically I'm saying that I want to create the table with the name login. This is the column name. This is the data type, right? It can store up to 20 character and number. This is the this is the column name, and again this is also the column name, right? This one is the data type. So if I try to run this directly, it will not allow me. It will not allow me directly. If you see cross sign. So basically, once you create the database, first you need to tell which database you want to use. So I want to use this database. So let me copy this name. Then only you can work on the database. So first, this is the command. So use database, and then I will create the table. So I save like this. So now table is created, and now so you can remove this one. Now inside this table, if I want to see all the data in the table, this is the query you need to write. Select start from login. So all the data which is present in our table will display here. So as of now, table do not have any data. So now I will insert four data. Insert into table name, value. So these are the four data I'm going to insert. So if I run it, so now data is inserted. Now if I select it again, this is the dummy data I am going to use so that we can see how we can fetch the data, right? So you can select this. If you select this one, you are going to get this output. So this file I will share with you, so you can also create the database. So you can add some more value if you want. So now I will save it. Save. Okay, so no saving is not required. So now I will go to that Eclipse editor again. I need to fetch the data from the database so that I can use that inside my table. So let me, for that again, you need to go, you need one Maven dependency. Maven, which is my SQL connector. Maven. So this is the one. Go to this one. Okay, so this is the one you need to get it from the Maven. Let me paste it here. Again, in the same dependency stack, we need to place it, paste it, and save it. So this you need so that you can form a connection, because if I show you, so let me so this is one simple code which we require. Let me copy this one. And let me extend it here only. So first you need to import that. You need to provide this one, otherwise you will go error in the code. Basically, you will not be able to import all the data, all the statements. So let me print it. So as of now, let me remove this. Let me also remove this one. So I will print, once I will retrieve the data, I will print it. So for that, email, if I talk about, this is our username. So three things I am going to print, and some error is coming. So let me remove this. So basically, I am saying what is our host name. So basically, localhost means our local machine, which I am working on. So this is I am storing that in one variable, and this is the same port number. So this port number I've told you, when you will run the setup, you will see it somewhere. So you need to, so by default you will see this one only most of the time. So I'm capturing these two in one variable, and now there is one connection class. So let me import the package first. So import, we are working with java.sql. So import the first one only. Import java.sql. Again import java.sql. One you have to import, not the other one, otherwise you will not see that. So now again import. Okay. So now if you see, this is, what is this one? This is a class and it have one method, get connection. So this is called as the connection string. This is called as the connection string. So here if you see, this is the host name. This variable name I am passing it here. So you can directly write it here, or you can pass the variable. So this I am placing it here, and this port number I am placing it here. And what is this one? This is your database name. So you have to provide single / before the database name. So what is our database name which we have created? Let me take that one only. This is our database name which we are created, which we are going to use. So let me get that name, paste it. And now this is our username, this is our password. So password which you have set when you are running the setup part, right? So this is the password I have set, and this is the default username. So let it be root only. So this is the connection string you have to pass in this way only. And once you invoke this method, you will get one connection object. So I'm creating one variable of conn. So once you create this one, so let me check first where. Okay, let me do one thing. I want to select all the data. Let me try to select. So after, let me first check whether till this part no error is coming. Let me debug the program. This line is very, very important. Otherwise, so again, error is coming. So I think somewhere braces is missing. So let me remove it. One. Okay, so now save it. Okay. Again error. Okay, so it is not an error. It is just like this. Now if I debug this program, so with the help of this one, we are getting one object. So we should reach here at line number 23. It has started. So now we are on the line number 23. So now this object we have created, right? So some object is created like this, and this object is having the knowledge, right? This object knows this is the database name, and this is the username and password, right? So it will form a connection, and after that, what we have to do, we need to one create a statement. So what this statement will do, so basically for this query, if I talk about, we need to execute one query, right? Execute in the sense I need to run this query so I can fetch all the data. So before that, we need to create one object of this class, object of create a statement. So this is the class name. So object, I'm placing it here in this variable, and this is one string value, right? So this is one, you can ignore this as of now. And once this object is created, with the help of this object, I am calling one method, execute query, and I'm placing this variable name here. So you can do it directly. You can pass this whole variable name here itself, but I placed it in one variable, then I'm placing. And once this method will execute your query, in the sense this one, select star from login. So we have already seen this will give us all the data. So now once this will executed here, we will get all the data here in this variable. So the return type is result set. So this is again this time it is an interface. So I'm creating the variable of type interface. So now let us see how this will going to fetch the data. So it is simply a string variable. Now this variable will come here if I show you. So now this part will be executed, select star from login, with the help of this method, and all the data will be present inside this. So let me see here. Now we are here, right? So now I'm using one while loop because I need to print all the data. If you see this here, let me just run this one. So okay, so this is again here. So this is username, this is email, this is password, right? So the column name you have to write it here. What I have written here, if I show you, I'm saying because we know that all the data is present inside this variable. So I'm saying, so forget about the while loop as of now. I am saying from this variable get the string value which is having the name as column name as. So here this is the column name, username, then this is our second column name, this is our password, right? So make sure you are writing the same column name which is written here. Uppercase and the lowercase matter here, otherwise it will fail. So the same name I have written here. So once you will get it, so what is this one, result dot next? So basically when I say dot next method to this variable will have all the data. This variable will have all this table. Just assume this variable will have all the 4 rows like this. It will have all the 4 rows. When I say dot next method, it will move to the row number first, which is this one. When I say for the first time, it will move to the row number first. And once it will move, it will have only this data. So now if I say dot get username, get email, and get password, so for the first time, you will get this. So if I go inside, so what is the username? Sumit. So it has printed Sumit. After that, email, it has printed email, whatever is in our database, and this is our password. Similarly, when this will run, dot next will run again. Now our result variable will move to the second row. So one by one it will move. Now second row is for Ankit. So once it will move to the second row, it will only have the second row data. So Ankit it will print. You can see in the output. This is the Ankit. Ankit, after that other email of Ankit. Okay, so email is present here. Let me. Email is here. and now there is one more, which is some dummy password, right? So again, for the when I will say next, it will move to the row number 3 for the third time. So now it will say Pankaj is the name, Pankaj and the Pankaj email and the password, right? Now for the last time, if I run it again, we will move to the row number 4. So row number 4, what is the data? I think the data is Vandan. So if I run it, Vandan and then email, then the password. But if you see dot next, when I will say dot next again, after the row number 4, we do not, after this row, we do not have any data. So when I say dot next, this time condition will fail and we will come out of the while loop. So this is how it will work and our program will terminate. So this is how we are able to fetch all the data. So suppose if I want to print the data of only one person, like what I will do. So there are a couple of methods. One of the method is like, if I say, if I want to get the email and password for Bandhan. So what I can do, I can use one for loop if condition, if user name dot equals Bandhan. So there might be the case you do not require all the data. So if it is equal to that one, then only print these two values. So now you can see only Bandhan email and password will be printed, right? So let me also print it inside this only. Now if I run it, only one user data will be printed in the output. So you can apply if else logic here. So you can see only one user is, you can give it some other name. So now once you get the name, what you have to do, suppose I want to send that data in one of the form, driver.find element. So just I'm writing it here, you can try later, element, and then how you need to find the element by the help of XPath or CSS. And then when I say dot send keys, so I need to send this data. So if I want to send the email to a text box, I will copy this variable and paste it here, right, to this send keys. So now basically this time, but this email I'm getting from the database. So this is how you can fetch all the data from the database and put it in some of the dummy form. You can try later. So I hope this database part is clear to everyone. Okay, I hope it is clear to everyone. So that's all for today in this session. So tomorrow we will discuss page object, page factory. So again, these are important topic and some kind of, so we will see these two topics tomorrow. Okay guys, so thanks for attending this session. We'll share the recording after this class.